Excuse me, sir. Sir, is this your Rolls Royce?
Yes.
And what line of business are you in? What did you do to be able to afford a Rolls Royce?
I own the world's largest water park.
You own the world's largest
My
water.
nickname is Aquaman.
Who am I here with today?
Jason Derulo,
What was the most amount of money that you've made in a single year?
$30 million.
Are you a business owner?
I am. So I own about 13 businesses now.
13 companies.
Yes, sir.
What business has made you the most money?
You'll never be able to guess.
What was the most amount of money that you've made in a single year?
I mean, it's hundreds of millions.
In terms of,
30 million this year.
did you buy this Rolls Royce cash?
Yeah, so we're here in Dubai, and in Dubai a lot of transactions happen cash. So literally $600,000 bricks of cash.
What's a lesson about money that banks don't want people to know?
Banks. I'll tell you something.
You guys, we just landed in the supercar capital of the world. And no, I don't mean camels, I mean actual supercars. Guys, we're in Dubai right now. And today, I'm gonna be going all over the wealthiest areas in Dubai to find supercar owners, to figure out what they did to be able to afford supercars, from Rolls Royces to Ferraris to G-Wagons, everything. This video is going to be amazing from start to finish, you guys. So you're gonna wanna stay tuned. But with that being said, let's get this video on the way. Excuse me, sir. Sir,
Yeah.
is this your G-Wagon?
Yeah, a minute.
And what did you do to be able to afford a G-Wagon out here in the UAE?
I own the world's largest water park.
You own the world's largest
My
water.
nickname is Aquaman.
Yeah?
Basically.
How long have you been a business owner?
More than a decade.
More than a decade.
Yeah.
And I go all over the world interviewing the most successful entrepreneurs. Could I interview you for the channel real quick?
We
I
have
think we can
Khamis
do
today?
that, yeah.
Oh, let's do Khamis.
Have you ever been broke before?
I was bankrupt twice, sued 24 times.
You were bankrupt twice.
And sued 24 times. Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
my goodness.
Yeah, yeah.
How did you come back from that?
Again, the genius thing I did is never quit. I think people think because I'm from here, I'm born and raised from UAE, it's like, oh, you're born with money, you have oil money. I mean, I wish that was the story, but that wasn't the case.
So you don't come from money?
No, I don't. My family was nice people, mid-class, one job all their life, and then I was the black sheep. And it's like, no, I'm gonna be different, and that's how it became. But yeah, bankrupt was. I still remember I got once a text on my phone. I had 1.8 million in negative. And for the next 4 years, I'm just paying back debts that my partner that was with me in the business got us in, and then like eventually became now the biggest one in the world.
Why did you get sued 24 times?
Suppliers, old partner, third-party suppliers, employees, different things. Because when you're business, people always want to sue you.
So how important is it to choose the right business partner?
It is the most important thing. Now I'm playing solo. All my companies, I do joint ventures with people.
Do you prefer it that way, to have complete ownership?
Personally, yes.
Why is that?
Because I've had bad experiences with partners. Because again, I am very aggressive in business. I'm very open for. I love failing. I have fallen in love and failing for so long. So for me, most people are scared of losing money. For me, it's just money.
Yeah.
It's like, so what? Just money. Let's make more of it. Because I know how it feels to have money, not to have money. I've been both spectrums of the equation.
But you failed a lot as an entrepreneur.
Oh yeah, my first year I was rejected 617 times. First year.
617 times.
First year. 'Cause every day I was getting at least 2 no's. Yeah.
Every no is one step closer to a
Exactly.
yes.
Now I know how to navigate them much faster. And again, all these no's built me up to become what I am right now. I would never look back and say, oh, I was horrible. That's the best lesson I've ever had.
What's the deepest life quote that you've ever heard?
Something that I wrote to myself, actually. This is something I want to show you. I wrote this to myself 8 years ago when I had 3 legal cases on me and I was, I think, $250,000 in debt. Train your mind harder than your body. Never accept someone else's limitation. Pain is essential. Visualize what you want all the time. Learn the meaning of overload. Become obsessed. Never become satisfied. That was me 8 years ago.
So it seems like the mindset is everything.
It's the only thing.
More important than skill sets.
Skill sets, you can always gain them, but the mindset is, again, you either have it or you don't have it. You can't be motivated all day, but you need to be disciplined.
Yeah, you got amazing advice, my friend.
brother?
Thank you so much for your time, man. Thank you.
Good
Appreciate
luck.
you. Thank
You
you,
need to
man.
come to the water park.
Let's go. Guys, that's got to be one of the wildest walk-ups I've ever done. He owns the largest water park in the entire world. But I want to highlight how there's a big misconception about wealth in the Middle East. Everybody thinks that just because you live in places like Dubai and the UAE that you come from a ton of money. He wasn't born into a super rich or wealthy family, but all he did was not take no for an answer. He was rejected 600 times in a single year, but he kept his head down, he kept going, learned how to sell, and ended up making 8 figures in a single year. Great interview out here in Dubai. We got to keep this video rolling and go find another one. Come on, let's go, you guys. Excuse me, sir. Sir, is this your Rolls Royce?
Yes.
And what line of business are you in? What did you do to be able to afford a Rolls Royce?
So I own a fashion brand called Icon.
You're a business owner.
Yeah.
How long have you been an entrepreneur?
6 years.
Over these 6 years, what's the most amount of money you've made in a single year? In terms of
30 million this year.
$30 million. And I go all over the world interviewing the biggest business owners. Could I get one quick minute with you for the channel real quick?
Yeah.
Could you do it outside of the car?
sure.
Did you buy this Rolls Royce cash?
Yeah, so we're here in Dubai, and in Dubai a lot of transactions happen cash. So literally $600,000 bricks of cash.
So you bought this for $600,000.
Yeah, yeah.
That's incredible. So what is the deepest life quote that you've ever heard?
Whatever you want, you can have it, as long as you're willing to bleed for what you're asking.
You should bleed for what you're asking.
Yes.
You gotta put it all on the table is what you're
Yes,
saying.
yes. Because you can have it all, and I'm here because I'm willing to sacrifice who I am right now for who I want to be in the future. And most people, they don't want to trade their current life for who they want to be later. I'm willing to lock myself in, go monk mode, don't see friends for 6 months, don't be with no chicks. I didn't care. I only cared about who I had to become. And everything has a price. Your dream life has a price too. So the question is, are you willing to pay that price? To me, the answer was yes every fucking time.
When you were coming up, did you have a lot of haters?
Too much, yeah. And still do. Look, if you don't want any haters, then becoming successful is not for you, because it's a part of it. But in the beginning, it's more people hate on what they gave up on themselves. So if they see you trying to pursue that business, you trying to become rich for yourself, and they've not had the balls to try it, or they're just scared, then they will try to talk you down, you know. And to me, that was really hard in the beginning, but I'm very happy that inside my mind, I'm a very stubborn kid. So if someone says to me, you can do it, don't do it, I want it twice as much. I was like, fuck it, I will prove all these motherfuckers wrong. In school, even close family members, maybe sometimes even the people you love or the people that love you will talk down on you. And you just have to think like, once I'm successful, I will show them. And that's exactly what I did. And I can tell you with the hand on my heart, there's no better feeling than proving the ones wrong that doubted you.
I've got a very special surprise for you all right now. We're headed to go interview Jason Derulo, one of the most successful musicians turned entrepreneurs in the entire world. He's made hundreds of millions of dollars throughout his career in both music and in business, and currently owns over 10 companies. So we're gonna go interview him and ask him how he created this wealth and how you can do the exact same thing just like him. So let's go talk to Jason and see what he has to say. Who am I here with today?
Jason Derulo.
What was the most amount of money that you made in a single year?
Most amount of money that I've made in a single year, $30 million.
For those that don't know, what industry did you decide to pursue a career in?
So I started off in music. Music was my first foray into any kind of success. You know, I was obsessed with music as a kid.
Are you a business owner?
I am. So I own about 13 businesses now.
13 companies.
Yes, sir.
What business has made you the most money?
You'll never be able to guess.
What business?
Car washes.
Car washes.
Car washes.
How many car washes do you own?
So I own about 65 car washes now.
65 car washes. Why are car washes so profitable?
Car washes are amazing because essentially you're owning a piece of land, right? So obviously you're going to be making money on that car wash every single day. Everybody washes their car. Their car is their pride and joy. Even during the pandemic, people were washing their cars. Ain't had nowhere to go, but still was washing their cars. It's the one thing that when we leave home is a representation of who we are and what our level of success is. So it's profitable from that standpoint, but also it just being real estate, you know? As time progresses, it just appreciates in value, especially if you're able to make car washes like we've made, and we've just been able to just have way better customer service than everybody, and we pay attention to details. So every customer experience, we treat it like it's our last chance at having that customer, right? And that's all about customer experience.
So in other words, they're recession proof.
Recession proof. I mean, so far it's been recession proof. It's been pandemic proof. I mean, if you can make it through the pandemic, you can make it through anything.
As a multimillionaire, what is your best negotiation advice for anybody in business?
Oh, I got those shits for days. So one of the key negotiation tactics. Damn, I'm about to give up my game.
Come on,
this is wild.
Give it to him.
Okay, so a big one is allowing other people to make the offer first. A lot of times you can shoot yourself in the foot and aim lower than you thought that you can get. So for me, I always have somebody else make the offer first. And sometimes I'm just shocked at what the number is. I'm like, damn, well shit, I'm glad I let you answer first because I was gonna go here. And then you know, sometimes that number can even double, you know?
That's
so
game right there.
That's a big one. That has been a game changer for me. Another negotiation piece of advice, sometimes taking a breather from the situation is a good thing. What I mean is, so you'll have a conversation, initial conversation, you'll have gotten their offer, then you reciprocate right with something higher, always, you know, you always gotta say something higher. Well, I was thinking more of this, and if you guys cannot come to an agreement, let a little time pass. Let 2 days pass and then come back to the situation. Don't come back begging really quickly. I treat it as if it's a relationship almost, you know?
You can't be desperate.
You cannot be desperate.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, coming from a position of power is always the better route as opposed to coming in asking for something.
How old are you now?
22. No, 37.
37. If you were to go back in time and have a conversation with your 20-year-old self when you were starting from zero, what's the best piece of advice that you give to your 20-year-old self?
What you're not changing, you're choosing.
Break that down.
If you feel like you're overweight and you're not doing anything to change that, you're choosing to be overweight. If you don't feel like you have enough money and you're not trying to change that, you're choosing to be broke.
Guys, that was an amazing interview with Jason Derulo. $30 million in a single year. And he just gave some of the best negotiation advice I've ever heard. You guys gotta realize, he's been at the table with the biggest people in the music industry, now business, doing $30 million in a year. Crazy interview, crazy snag out here in Dubai, you guys. We gotta keep this video rolling, go get another one. This video has been crazy. Come on. What was the most amount of money that you've made in a single year?
I mean, it's hundreds of millions.
What's a lesson about money that banks don't want people to know?
Banks.
Yeah.
I tell you something. Look, if a bank says I'm only going to take 1% of your money for managing all your things, that's not 1% of your money. That's probably 95% of your income that you would have had in your lifetime. Now you're like, how does that make sense? It makes a lot of sense because this is one of the tricks that people that are not into finances or generally anybody who pays taxes, let's call it taxes because banks' fees could also be called taxes, right? Think about this. If you live in a country that takes 25% income tax and you start with $1 and over your lifetime you double this dollar over 20 periods, just a numbers example, you would have $1,048,000, right? That's just over 20 days, let's say, or 20 years, however you want to see it. If you double that dollar for 20 times, you will end up with $1,048,000. Now, how much would you have if somebody took 25% from your profits after the same period, around 750,000, whatever? No, you would have 96% less. You would have around $50,000 to $70,000 because they took away your compounding effect. That is the trick because the base doesn't grow that fast, and you will feel it at the end. The compounding comes with the growing base.
Yeah. They don't teach that in school, you know that, right?
I don't know why.
What's your best negotiation advice for anybody in business? Because you've been at the table with some heavy hitters. I know that you exited a company for a lot of money. What's your best negotiation advice for anybody in business?
Negotiations are won by the people who don't need the deal, who could just walk away. But you're always in some kind of a situation when you might really need the deal, especially when you don't have a lot, you might really need the deal. So I was in a situation actually quite recently, 4 or 5 years ago. I was sitting in front of investors, right? We had a good business, but we needed those investors because we were going into a market where they were kind of very powerful. And they said, hey, there's a clause that we want to have in the contract. And I didn't want that clause. So it was already 8 to 9 months into a deal negotiation. It's bankers sitting there, lawyers sitting here, and their lawyers are sitting there. And it's a very tense situation. And the deal is about to break. And it's really a lot of money on the table. So I said, we have to change the clause. We can't do this deal. It was bad for the shareholders. And as a CEO, you are kind of the representative of all shareholders. And then they said, we have the money, so we have the muscle. I asked for a break. I went out with my lawyers and my bankers. I said, I think the deal is off. And they're like, you're crazy. What are you doing? We've been working for so long. And I said, okay, I have a situation. I have a solution. So I went back into the boardroom and I said, guys, what kind of CEO do you want to have? Tomorrow you will be my shareholders as well. So if you're my shareholder, you want a CEO who gives in and gives up if somebody says something like this? Or you want a CEO who stands up and says, this is not good for our shareholders and I'm not going to do this deal? You might have the muscles, but I have the balls. And I was quiet. And they actually looked at it from that perspective now and say, yeah, he's kind of right. So if he's now kind of weak in our negotiation, but tomorrow he's our CEO, I don't want a CEO like that. I want a strong CEO. So that was one of the things that I learned later on. Be diplomatic, never be disrespectful, but put yourself into their shoes after the deal.
Amazing.
That's really what helped.
You got amazing advice, man. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate
Thank you.
that.